Hi there, I'm Ken Thompson and I want to give you a quick introduction to game-based learning and dashboard simulations. The first question I want to address is why are business simulation games so effective for learning? There are a number of different modes that people learn by, and they're represented on this pyramid. The first mode is behaviorism, which is essentially stimulus and response, carrot and stick. That's a very basic way that people learn things. The second mode is slightly more sophisticated. It's called cognitivism, and that's basically teacher-pupil. But that lacks sophistication as well. The third model of learning is called constructivism, which recognizes you can't input information into somebody else's head. Rather, you can just give them information and they will create their own mental models. A very popular model of learning is experientialism, which is essentially learning by doing. And the final model of learning, which is very popular today, is social learning. You learn in conversations with your colleagues. Now, business simulation games, if properly designed, will be multi-modal, or some other people say whole brain. They can address all 5 different modes of learning. Business simulation games can also be collaborative. You work with your colleagues and you learn with your colleagues in teams. But they're also competitive. They're like the real world. There is urgency and the need to win. Thirdly, they, like all games, are compulsive. People often, when they get engaged in a game, will not even stop for the coffee break. And finally, they're what we call constitutive. They address the whole person. They address the learning topic. Also, they cover the person's behavior in teams, and also they cover team dynamics. So they're a rich observatory for engaging with behavior. So that's the first thing. Business simulation games are highly effective learning vehicles. So what's different about dashboard simulations? First of all, dashboard simulations operate at the sweet spot of 3 very important disciplines. The first discipline is called informal learning. Research by people such as J. Cross have identified that only 5% of what we use in our jobs has been learned formally. The other information has been learned informally. The other 90% has been learned through informal techniques such as just making mistakes, self-directed learning, and learning from colleagues. The second discipline is game-based learning. Learning through engagement in games, the blend of collaborative and the competitive. It's been shown that game-based learning makes people engage more, better retention, and is more likely to produce behavior change. The third approach we synthesize is business simulation models. Predefined simulation models, best practice defined with subject matter experts and customized where required. It's been shown business simulation models are more effective than case studies, are very, very powerful if using the real data, but need to be skillfully facilitated. And that's where dashboard simulation comes in. We come in at the sweet spot of those 3 disciplines. Now, with dashboard simulations, it's not just about the simulation. When I'm presenting simulations, I often show people this diagram and ask them the question, where is the knowledge in the simulation? And typically, even with a great simulation, less than 50% of the knowledge is actually in the simulation. Where's the rest of the knowledge? The rest of the knowledge is in the materials, the off-simulation materials we would hand out, the briefing papers, the market updates, but most of the other information is actually in the people. The business sponsor, the facilitators, the simulation participants. And the job of the simulation is to encourage good conversations so all that knowledge gets shared properly in the organization. Third thing that's different about dashboard simulations is we have a process to ensure learning as well as fun and engagement. And here's what it looks like. Each time we run a simulation, there will be a number of rounds. At the very start, the team will be briefed. What is the business challenge? What are the goals? How will they win the simulation? We then ask people to start looking at what they believe about the particular simulation area, to start surfacing what we call their mental models. We then asked each team to produce a game plan for how they're going to succeed in the simulation, And this is one of the most encouraging feedbacks we get at the end of the simulation. The idea of having a game plan in advance is actually new to quite a number of people. The team then has a discussion about its decisions. This is facilitated. The facilitator is making sure it's inclusive, everybody's participating. The facilitator is also making sure that evidence-based decision making is happening. And the facilitator is making sure that the conversations are valuable and not trivial. The team then make their decisions, record them in their game books. They then hit the big red run button. They see the results. They look at the various dashboards, stand back and analyze the results, looking at the leading indicators as well as the lagging indicators. There then is a learning review where teams use learning boards to capture insights every member has gained during a particular round. So we're starting to push them right at the start about what behavior change are you going to be making as a result of this. And finally, the exciting bit, we put up the leaderboards to say how the team's doing, who's in the lead, and then we go round again, and typically we'll go round 3 or 4 times. So if you'd like to find out a bit more, just go to the website www.dashboardsimulations.com. We have 3 broad categories of simulation. The top 4 are leadership and management simulations, which typically take half a day. The middle 3 are running whole enterprise simulations where you're part of an executive team. And the bottom 3 are live simulations where we do what-if games based on your live data. Thank you for listening.